The lightning illuminates his face for half a second, and I realize the man standing in my doorway is holding a gun. Not at me, just holding it casually, the way someone might hold their keys or their phone. Rain streams down his face, plastering dark hair against his forehead, and his black shirt, expensive, I notice stupidly, is soaked through and clinging to shoulders that seem too broad to fit through my narrow apartment door frame. I need to come inside, he says. Not asks, says. His accent curls around the words, Italian maybe, softened by years somewhere else. His voice is low, rough, like he doesn't use it often and doesn't need to. Behind him, the storm tears through the Chicago streets with the kind of violence that made the news tell everyone to stay inside tonight. I should slam the door. I should scream. I should do literally anything except what I actually do, which is step back and let him in. You're bleeding, I say, which is possibly the most ridiculous observation I've ever made, given the circumstances. But it's true. Dark liquid seeps through his shirt at his side, spreading in a way that makes my stomach twist. He doesn't look down. His eyes, in God, they're dark, almost black in the flickering light from my lamp, stay locked on mine as he moves past me into my apartment. He smells like rain and something else, gunpowder maybe, or expensive cologne mixed with blood and danger. Lock it, he says, nodding toward the door. My hand is already on the deadbolt before my brain catches up to question why I'm taking orders from an armed stranger who just invaded my home. I turn it with a click that sounds too loud in the sudden quiet. The storm still rages outside, but in here, with the door closed, there's just the sound of water dripping from his clothes onto my hardwood floor and my own pulse hammering in my ears. I'm going to call 911, I say, reaching for my phone on the entry table. No, he doesn't raise his voice, doesn't move toward me. Just that one word, delivered with such absolute certainty that my hand stops midair. You won't. You're bleeding in my apartment. I'm a nurse. I'm legally obligated. You're a pediatric nurse at Chicago Med. He turns to face me fully now, and I can see the pain he's hiding in the tightness around his eyes, the careful way he's holding his left side. You work Tuesday through Saturday, day shift. You get coffee every morning at the place 2 blocks from the hospital. You take the red line. You live alone. Ice slides down my spine. How do you... Sit down, Elena. The sound of my name in his mouth makes something flutter in my chest that definitely isn't fear, or isn't only fear. This is insane. I should be terrified. I am terrified. But there's something else mixing with the terror, something that makes me hyper aware of how he's looking at me, like he's memorizing details, cataloging features. I'll stand, thanks. My voice comes out steadier than I feel. And you're going to tell me what the hell is happening before I start screaming loud enough for my neighbors to hear. The corner of his mouth twitches. It's not quite a smile, but it's something. No, you won't. How are you so sure? Because you're smart. He moves carefully, painfully, toward my couch and lowers himself onto it with the kind of control that suggests he's done this before, been injured before, had to keep moving through pain before. And you already know screaming brings attention neither of us wants right now. He's right, which I hate, because if he knows where I work and where I live and how I get my coffee, then he's been watching me, planning something. And whatever plan involves showing up bleeding at my door during the worst storm of the season probably isn't the kind that ends well if police get involved. I should be focusing on the danger. The gun he's now setting carefully on my coffee table, the blood spreading across my cream-colored couch cushion that I'll never get clean. Instead, I'm noticing the way his jaw clenches when he breathes, the careful precision of his movements, the authority that rolls off him like heat. You need a hospital, I say. I need you to look at it. I work with children, ear infections, and broken arms, not gunshot wounds. It's not a gunshot. He starts unbuttoning his shirt, and I should look away, but I don't, can't. The fabric peels back to reveal tan skin, defined muscle, and a deep gash along his ribs that definitely needs stitches. Knife, clean cut, you can handle it. That's not, you can't just. I press my hands to my temples, trying to organize thoughts that keep scattering. Who are you? Does it matter? Yes, it matters. You know everything about me, and I don't even know your name. He considers this, dark eyes studying my face with an intensity that makes me feel exposed, seen. Marco, he finally says. Marco Rossi. The name triggers something in my memory, something I heard at the hospital, whispered by security guards who look nervous when certain people come through the ER. Something about families who own half the city and don't follow normal rules. Oh God, I breathe. Yes, simple, unapologetic. Now get your supplies, Elena. I'm bleeding on your furniture. The ridiculous statement almost makes me laugh. Hysterical, maybe, but still, here's a mafia boss, because that's what he has to be. What else would he be? Concerned about my couch, while his blood slowly drips onto my floor. Stay here, I say, which is stupid, because where would he go? But he nods like I've said something reasonable, and I escape to my bathroom on shaking legs. My first aid kit isn't meant for this. Band-aids, an antibiotic ointment, maybe some gauze. I grab it anyway, along with the bottle of vodka I keep under the sink for when my roommate visits. She moved to New York 6 months ago, but I haven't gotten rid of it, and a stack of clean towels. My hands are shaking as I gather supplies, and I catch my reflection in the mirror. Blonde hair falling out of its ponytail, green eyes too wide, tank top and sleep shorts, because I was getting ready for bed when he knocked. When he showed up like a nightmare, or a dark fantasy, or something in between that I don't have words for yet. You're in shock, I tell my reflection. That's why you're thinking crazy things. That's why you noticed how his wet shirt clings to his chest. That's why your pulse jumped when he said your name. My reflection doesn't look convinced. When I return to the living room, Marco has his eyes closed, head tipped back against my couch. For a second, I think he's passed out, but then he opens his eyes and looks at me with that same predatory focus. Took you long enough. It's been 2 minutes. Long enough, he repeats and holds out his hand. Let me see what you brought. I don't give him the kit. Instead, I set everything on the coffee table next to his gun. His gun just sitting there like it belongs in my apartment, and kneel beside the couch. Up close, the wound looks worse, deep enough to need proper stitches, but clean, precise, like he said. This needs an ER, I say quietly. Can't. Why not? Because the people who did this are watching hospitals. His voice is matter of fact, like he's discussing the weather. They're watching police stations. They're watching anywhere someone like me might go when injured. But they're not watching me. No. Something dark flashes across his face. They weren't. Now they might be. The implication hangs between us. He's brought danger to my door. By being here, he's made me visible to whoever wants him dead. I should be furious. Should throw him out, storm or no storm, knife wound or no knife wound. Tell me how bad it is, he says. The truth. I examine the cut carefully, professionally, trying to ignore the heat of his skin under my fingers. 6 inches long, deep, but not deep enough to hit anything vital. You're lucky. Another inch to the left, and we'd be having a very different conversation. Or not having one at all. I'm not lucky. His voice drops lower, and when I glance up, his eyes are fixed on my face. I'm careful, not careful enough. You're in my apartment bleeding. I'm exactly where I need to be. The words send a shiver through me that has nothing to do with the temperature. There's meaning under the surface, something I'm not quite catching, but can feel anyway. I pour vodka over the wound without warning. He doesn't flinch, doesn't make a sound, just watches me work with that unnerving intensity, like I'm the most interesting thing in the room, despite the fact that he's the one with a knife wound and a gun. Why me? I ask, as I clean the blood away, revealing the full extent of the damage. Why my door? You were close. There are other apartments, other people. Not like you. My hands still. What does that mean? It means I've been watching you, Elena. He says it without shame, without apology. It means I know you help people. Children, yes, but anyone who needs it. I've seen you give your coffee money to homeless people. I've seen you stay late to comfort scared kids. You have a good heart. That's stalking. That's why I knew you'd open the door. His hand covers mine, stopping my cleaning. His palm is warm, calloused, strong, and why I knew you wouldn't turn me away. I should pull back, should tell him he's wrong about me, that I'm not some bleeding heart who helps dangerous men who show up in storms. But his hand on mine is doing something to my ability to think clearly, and the way he's looking at me, like I'm precious, like I'm his, makes words stick in my throat. I'm going to need to close this, I finally manage. I have butterfly bandages, but it really needs stitches. Do what you can. I work in silence for a few minutes, hyper aware of every point where my skin touches his breathing, the way his muscles tense under my fingers. The thunder outside seems to be moving away, the storm passing, but in here, the air feels thick with something else, something electric. There, I say, sitting back to examine my work. Not perfect, but good enough to hold until he can get proper medical care. You need antibiotics, real ones, not just, I'll handle it. He sits up slowly, testing the bandages, and I see the pain he's hiding in the whiteness of his knuckles. Thank you. Your welcome feels like the wrong response to giving first aid to a Mafia boss in my living room at midnight. That almost smile again. Smart girl. Smart enough to know I'm in trouble now. I stand, putting distance between us, trying to think clearly. You said they weren't watching me, but now they might be. What does that mean for me? For my life? Marco stands too, slower, favoring his injured side. He's tall. I hadn't fully processed that before. But now, in my small living room, he seems to take up all the available space, all the available air. It means I protect you, he says simply. I don't need protection. I need you to leave so I can pretend this never happened. Can't do that. Why not? He steps closer, not threatening exactly, but deliberate, purposeful. Because you're mine to protect now. I'm not yours. I'm not anyone's. I'm in danger because of me. Another step, which makes you my responsibility. That's insane. You can't just watch me. We're inches apart now, close enough that I can see the flecks of gold in his dark eyes, smell the rain still clinging to his skin, feel the heat irradiating from him despite his injury. My heart is racing, and I can't tell if it's fear or something more dangerous. What if I refuse? I whisper. His hand comes up to cup my face, thumb brushing my cheekbone with surprising gentleness. You won't. You keep saying that. How do you know? Because you feel it too. His voice is barely audible over the storm. This thing between us, you felt it the moment you opened the door. He's wrong. He has to be wrong. I don't feel anything except terror and confusion and the absolutely insane urge to lean into his touch instead of pulling away. You're delusional from blood loss, I say, but I don't move. Maybe. His thumb traces my lower lip and my breath catches. Or maybe I've been watching you long enough to know what you need. And what's that? Someone who isn't afraid of the dark. His eyes are burning into mine now, intense and unblinking. Someone who can keep you safe from the things that hide in it. I don't need. The window shatters. Marco has me on the ground before I can process what's happening. His body covering mine. His hand on the back of my head, pressing my face against the hardwood. Glass sprinkles down like deadly rain, and somewhere in the chaos, I hear another crack. Gunfire. My brain supplies, helpfully. That's gunfire. And then Marco is moving, dragging me with him toward the hallway. Stay down, he commands. And then he's at the window, gun in hand, returning fire, with a calmness that should terrify me. Should. But terror has given way to something else. Clarity, maybe. The understanding that everything just changed. That whatever life I had before Marco Rossi showed up at my door bleeding is over now. 3 more shots. Then silence. Marco stays at the window for a long moment before turning back to me. There's blood on his bandage. He's reopened the wound, but his expression is cold, controlled. This is his world, I realize. Not the bleeding on my couch, but this, the violence, the danger, the absolute certainty in how he moves through it. We need to leave, he says, already moving toward me. Now, my neighbors are calling the police, which means we have maybe 3 minutes. He pulls me to my feet, his hand firm on my arm. Where's your go bag? My what? Bag with essentials. Money, ID, clothes. I don't have a... Why would I have a... Bedroom. Now. Grab whatever you can't leave behind. He propels me down the hallway into my bedroom, and the surreality of this moment hits me. A stranger, a dangerous, beautiful stranger who apparently knows where I sleep, is in my most private space, telling me to pack like we're going on vacation instead of running from people who just shot through my window. I can't just leave, I say, but I'm already grabbing my backpack, stuffing it with my laptop, charger, wallet. Habits from travel nursing kick in. Phone charger, medications, clean underwear. I have work. I have a lease. I have a life. Had. Marco is at my closet, pulling out jeans and a sweater with efficiency that suggests he's done this before. For someone else, maybe. Has he rescued women before? Protected them? Or is this new? This urgency in how he moves. Past tense. Get dressed. Don't tell me what to do in my own bedroom. He turns, and there's something almost like amusement in his eyes. Bella, we don't have time for you to be stubborn. Your old life ended the moment I knocked on your door. We both know it. So get dressed, or I'll dress you myself. The threat shouldn't send heat through me, shouldn't make my pulse jump. I snatch the clothes from his hand and turn my back, changing quickly while he, respectfully, surprisingly, faces the door. How bad is it? I ask, pulling the sweater over my head. What you're in, what I'm in now. Bad enough that staying here means dying. His voice is matter of fact. The Calabrese family has been trying to move on my territory for months. Tonight was supposed to end me. It didn't. Because you came here. Because I came to you. There's weight in those words, meaning I'm still not catching. Why? Questions later, moving now. He glances back, checking that I'm dressed, and nods toward the bag. That everything? I look around my bedroom. Posters from college, photos of my family in Iowa, the plant I've kept alive for 2 years. My whole life contained in this small space, and I'm supposed to just walk away from it. Elena, Marco's voice softens slightly. I know what I'm asking, but if you stay, they'll use you to get to me. And what they'll do to you? He trails off, jaw clenching. I won't let that happen. You don't even know me. I know enough. Sirens in the distance, getting closer. Marco's hand finds mine, and the contact is grounding, solid, real in a way nothing else feels right now. Trust me, he says. That's a lot to ask from someone who broke into my apartment. I knocked. You had a gun. Still do, but his grip on my hand is gentle. Trust me anyway. I should say no, should pull away, wait for the police, explain everything. But his eyes are dark and certain, and some instinct I didn't know I had is screaming that safety isn't in staying. It's in following this dangerous man into the unknown. If you get me killed, I say, I'm haunting you forever. That almost smile becomes a real one, brief but genuine. I'd expect nothing less. We take the back stairs. He knows about the back stairs. Has he been in this building before? And emerge into an alley where a black car waits, engine running. Another man is in the driver's seat, older, graying at the temples, expression grim. Boss, he says as we approach. Situation? Contained. Take us to the safe house. Which one? Lakeshore. Marco opens the back door and helps me inside with a hand at the small of my back. The car is expensive. Leather seats, tinted windows. The kind of vehicle that suggests money and power and things I've only seen in movies. This is Carlo, Marco says, sliding in beside me. His thigh presses against mine in the confined space. He's been with my family for 30 years. You can trust him. Carlo catches my eye in the rearview mirror and nods. Miss Elena, I'm sorry for the circumstances. You know my name too? Boss has been talking about you for weeks. Carlo, Marco's voice carries warning. Just saying, but Carlo is already pulling into traffic, navigating the rainy streets with practiced ease. Girl should know she's not random. I turn to look at Marco, whose expression has gone carefully neutral. Weeks? Not now. Yes, now. You've been watching me for weeks? Planning this? What am I? Some kind of project? You're not a project. His voice is tight. You're... What? What am I, Marco? He's quiet for a long moment, staring out the window at the city passing by. Rain streams down the glass, distorting the lights into abstract patterns. When he finally speaks, his voice is low enough that I have to lean closer to hear. You're the first thing I've wanted in 10 years that wasn't about business or family or power. He turns to look at me, and the intensity in his gaze steals my breath. You're the first thing that's just mine. The possessiveness in those words should frighten me, should set off every warning bell I have. Instead, it does something complicated to my insides, something that feels like falling. You can't just claim people, I whisper. No. His hand finds mine again, threading our fingers together. Watch me. The drive takes 20 minutes. We don't speak, but Marco doesn't let go of my hand. His thumb traces patterns on my palm, soothing, absent-minded, like he's not fully aware he's doing it. Carlo makes a phone call in rapid Italian, too fast for me to catch more than a few words. Sicuro, protetto, safe, protected. The safe house is a penthouse overlooking the lake. Of course it is, because apparently mafia bosses don't hide in dingy apartments. They hide in luxury. The elevator requires a key, opens directly into the apartment, and the space that greets us is all floor-to-ceiling windows and modern furniture and the kind of minimalist wealth that doesn't need to show off. You'll be safe here, Marco says as Carlo disappears into another room. The building is owned by one of my companies. Security is airtight. No one gets in without us knowing. How long? I set my bag down, trying to process everything. How long do I have to stay here? Until it's handled. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have. He winces, pressing a hand to his side, and I remember the wound, the reopened bandages, the blood I saw on him in the car. Sit down, I say, professional instinct overriding everything else. Let me check your side. I'm fine. You're bleeding through your shirt again. Sit down before you pass out. For a moment, I think he'll argue, but then he moves to the couch. Expensive, leather, nothing like my cream-colored Target special, and sits. I kneel beside him again, and there's something familiar about this position now. Something that feels like hours ago, instead of just one. Off, I say, gesturing to his shirt. He complies, unbuttoning slowly, and I try not to notice the expanse of his chest, the tattoos I didn't see before, a cross over his heart, words in Italian along his ribs on the uninjured side, something that might be a family crest on his shoulder. You're staring, he says quietly. I'm assessing the damage, but my cheeks heat because he's right. I am staring. At his body, yes, but also at the map of violence it carries. Scars, old and white against tan skin, a life lived in danger. You need stitches, actual stitches. I'll make a call. You have a doctor on call? I have several. He reaches for his phone, but I stop him, my hand on his wrist. Tell me the truth about why you came to my door, about the weeks you spent watching me, about what I am to you. His dark eyes search mine. The truth is complicated. I've got time. I'm apparently trapped in a luxury penthouse with a mafia boss. That almost smile. Could be worse places to be trapped. Could be in my own apartment, not running for my life. True. He shifts, turning to face me more fully, and his hand comes up to cup my face again. The gesture is becoming familiar, possessive but gentle. The truth is, I saw you 6 months ago, at the hospital. You were comforting a kid who'd been brought in from a shooting. Not your patient, not your responsibility, but you stayed, held his hand while the doctors worked, talked to him about cartoons and school and anything that wasn't the bullet they were digging out of his shoulder. I remember that day. The boy had been 8, caught in crossfire, terrified and alone. His mother had been too hysterical to comfort him, so I'd stepped in. It's what you do, what any decent person does. That was you? I ask. That was my nephew. The words are heavy. My sister's son. She'd gotten involved with someone she shouldn't have, brought danger to her door. I couldn't stop it, but you helped him anyway. That's my job. No, your job is pediatrics. Your job is scheduled patients and routine care. What you did was kindness, humanity. His thumb brushes my cheekbone, and I couldn't stop thinking about it, about you, about how someone could have that much compassion in a world this dark. So you stalked me. I protected you. There's a difference in his tone. You think I was the only one who noticed you that day? The Calabresi family, the ones who shot my nephew, they were there too. They saw what you did, and I made sure they forgot. Made sure you stayed invisible, safe. My heart is pounding. For 6 months? For 6 months, I kept you off there. You're not just anything. His eyes open, and the heat in them makes my breath catch. And you're not safe anymore, which means you stay with me, under my protection, until every last person who knows your name is no longer a threat. The implication is clear. He's going to kill them, all of them, for me, because I showed basic human decency 6 months ago, and he decided I was worth protecting. This is insane, I whisper. Yes, you're insane. Probably. I should call the police, tell them everything. You could. His hand drops from my face, and I immediately miss the contact. But you won't. Why does everyone keep saying that? Why is everyone so sure what I will or won't do? Because you're still here. He leans back against the couch, watching me with those dark, knowing eyes. Because when you had the chance to scream, to run, to refuse, you didn't. You let me in. You helped me. You came with me. And now you're asking me about the truth instead of planning your escape. He's right. God help me. He's right. I should be finding exits, making plans, figuring out how to get back to my normal life. But normal life feels like something that happened to someone else. Someone naive who didn't know men like Marco Rossi existed outside of movies and books. I need to call my family, I say. They'll worry. You can call them, but you can't tell them where you are or what's happening. Lie to them. Keep them safe. He pulls out his phone, hands it to me. My phone, untraceable. Tell them you're taking a spontaneous trip, personal time, whatever makes sense, but keep it brief. I take the phone and our fingers brush, that electricity again, sparking in the space between us. I make the call. Mom answers on the third ring, and I lie more smoothly than I expected. Yes, I'm fine. No, nothing's wrong. Just needed a break, taking a few days off, going somewhere quiet. She believes me because why wouldn't she? Her daughter doesn't get involved with dangerous men, doesn't harbor mafia bosses, doesn't run from assassins. When I hang up, Marco is watching me with something like approval. Good. I hate this. Lying to her? Better than planning her funeral. The brutal honesty makes me flinch. Do you have to be so honest? Yes. He stands slowly, favoring his side. You need to understand what's at stake. These people don't make threats. They make examples. And if they think you matter to me, which they do now, they'll use you. They'll hurt you in ways you can't imagine. And they'll make sure I watch. Stop. No. You need to hear this. Need to understand why you can't leave, can't contact anyone, can't go back to your life until this is finished. And how does it finish? I stand too, facing him. How does this end, Marco? With them dead or me dead? Simple. Final. Those are the only two options. Or you could leave. Both of us could leave. Disappear. Start over somewhere they can't find us. Something flashes across his face. Not anger exactly, but something darker. I don't run, even if it saves your life. My life isn't the one I'm worried about saving. He steps closer, and we're back in that dangerous proximity. And I don't abandon what's mine. I'm not. Yes, you are. His hand finds my waist, pulling me closer. You became mine the moment you opened that door. The moment you trusted me enough to help instead of turning me away. You're mine, Elena, and I protect what's mine. The possessiveness should terrify me, does terrify me, but it also does something else, something I don't want to examine too closely. Makes me feel safe, wanted, claimed in a way I've never been claimed before. This is moving too fast, I whisper. Yes, we don't know each other. I know you. His other hand comes up to my face again. I know you take your coffee black with too much sugar. I know you're afraid of thunderstorms, but you hide it well. I know you call your mom every Sunday at 7. I know you cry during Pixar movies and laugh at your own jokes, and you're the kindest person I've ever met. That's creepy, not romantic. I never said it was romantic. His thumb traces my lower lip again, and my breath hitches. I said it was true. Marco, tell me to stop. His voice is rough, low. Tell me you don't feel this, and I'll back away. I'll protect you from a distance, keep you safe, but give you space. I should tell him to stop, should establish boundaries, should remember that this man is dangerous, that his world is violence, that every moment I spend with him is another moment deeper into something I might not survive. But his hand on my waist is warm. His eyes are dark and honest and full of something that looks like hunger. And I've spent 28 years being smart, being safe, being the good girl who makes good choices. Maybe it's time to make a bad one. I don't want space, I hear myself say. His pupils dilate. Elena, I want to understand this, whatever this is, because you're right. I feel something, and it's insane, and it's probably going to destroy my life. But I can't. I trail off, searching for words. I can't pretend I don't feel it. You should, but he's not backing away. If anything, he's closer. You should tell me to leave you alone. Hate me for dragging you into this. Save yourself. Is that what you want? What I want is irrelevant. Answer the question. His jaw clenches. No. What I want is to keep you close, keep you safe, keep you mine in every way there is. What I want is dangerous and selfish and will probably get us both killed. Then we have something in common. I lean into his touch and his breath catches, because what I want is just as dangerous. For a long moment, we just look at each other. The air between us feels charged, electric, like the storm outside moved indoors. Then his phone rings, still in my hand, and the spell breaks. He takes it, glances at the screen, and his expression hardens. I have to take this. Business? War? He steps back, and I immediately feel the loss of his warmth. Stay here. Don't go near the windows. Don't answer the door. Don't trust anyone who isn't me or Carlo. You're leaving? Just to the other room. 5 minutes. He's already moving, phone to his ear, speaking rapid Italian, but he pauses at the doorway, looks back. Elena, I meant what I said. You're mine now, and I keep what's mine safe. Then he's gone, and I'm alone in a luxury penthouse overlooking a city that suddenly feels full of threats. I should be panicking, should be planning escape routes, calling the police, doing something rational and smart. Instead, I'm touching my lips, where his thumb traced them, replaying his words. You're mine now. The terrifying part isn't that he said it, it's that I liked it. Carlo appears with a first aid kit that puts mine to shame. The doctor will be here in an hour, he says, setting it on the coffee table. But I can do temporary repairs if you're willing. You know first aid? Miss, I've been patching up Rossi men for 30 years. First aid is the least of my skills. He gestures to the couch. The boss won't let anyone touch him while he's on that call, but you look like you could use something to do with your hands. He's not wrong. I'm vibrating with unused adrenaline. my mind racing through everything that's happened. I sit, and Carlo produces supplies that would make a proper ER jealous: sutures, lidocaine, actual medical grade equipment. Why does a safe house have surgical supplies? I ask. Because in our world, hospitals ask questions we don't want to answer. He's matter of fact about it. You get used to being self-sufficient. How long have you known Marco? Since he was born. Held him when he was 2 hours old. There's affection in Carlo's voice, real warmth. Watched him grow up, take over the family business, become the man he is. And what kind of man is that? Carlo studies me for a moment. The kind who doesn't let people in easily. The kind who carries the weight of an entire organization on his shoulders. The kind who... He pauses. The kind who hasn't smiled in 5 years until he started talking about you. My heart skips. That's not... We don't even know each other. You think that matters? Carlo's smile is sad. Love doesn't wait for permission, Miss Elena. It doesn't care about timing or logic or whether it's convenient. This isn't love. It's obsession, infatuation, Stockholm Syndrome, maybe. If that's what you need to call it to feel safe, go ahead. He stands, packing up the supplies. But I've known Marco his whole life, and I've never seen him look at anyone the way he looks at you. Like you're air and he's drowning. Before I can respond, Marco returns. His expression is grim, shoulders tight with tension. That was longer than 5 minutes. 8. He doesn't apologize. We have a problem. Another one? The Calabresi family knows you're with me. They've put a bounty on your head. $500,000 to whoever brings you to them alive. He says it flatly, like he's reading a grocery list instead of my death sentence, which means every mercenary and freelancer in the city is now looking for you. The room tilts. $500,000? Consider it a compliment. But there's nothing light in his tone. They want you that badly because they think you're my weakness. Are you? I ask quietly. Is that what I am? Your weakness? No. He crosses to me, cups my face in both hands. You're my strength, my reason to end this war quickly instead of letting it drag out. They made a mistake putting that price on your head, because now I have no reason to show mercy. Marco, I'm going to destroy them. His voice is cold, final. Every last person who even thought your name. And then you'll be safe. Then you can decide, stay with me or go back to your life. But you'll be alive to make that choice. I promise you that. The certainty in his voice should frighten me. The casual way he discusses destruction, murder, war. But all I can focus on is his hands on my face, the heat in his eyes, the promise he's making. What if I don't want to decide? The words surprise me. What if I want to stay in this moment where nothing's decided yet? Then stay. His forehead touches mine, and the intimacy of it steals my breath. Stay with me. Let me keep you safe. Let me... The lights go out. Emergency systems kick in immediately. Backup generators, red lighting. But for a moment, there's pure darkness. Marco's body covers mine instinctively, protective, his weight pressing me back against the couch. Carlo, he shouts, cutting the power. Carlo's voice comes from somewhere in the darkness. Building wide, has to be them. How did they find us this fast? Does it matter? Carlo sounds closer now. We need to move, now. But Marco doesn't move. His body stays over mine, solid and warm, and in the red emergency lighting, I can see his expression, not fear, calculation, planning. The panic room, he says. You'll be trapped. We'll be safe. He pulls back enough to look at me. Elena, I need you to trust me one more time. Can you do that? The answer should be no. Should be that I've trusted him enough, followed him far enough, risked enough. But his eyes are dark and certain. And some part of me, the part that opened the door in the first place, knows the safest place I can be is wherever Marco Rossi decides to put me. Yes, I whisper. He lifts me like I weigh nothing, cradling me against his chest despite his injury, and carries me down a hallway I didn't notice before. Carlo is ahead of us, gun drawn, checking corners with military precision. A hidden door opens, bookshelf, of course, very dramatic, and reveals a small room behind it. Reinforced walls, monitors showing security feeds, supplies stacked neatly. Marco sets me down carefully. You'll be safe here. The walls are bulletproof, bomb-proof. The door won't open for anyone but me or Carlo. There's food, water, bathroom, everything you need. You're not staying. I have to handle this. No. I grab his arm. You're injured. You'll get yourself killed. I've been doing this since I was 16, Bella. But his hand covers mine. I'll be fine. You don't know that. You can't. He kisses me. It's not gentle, not soft. It's desperate and claiming and full of everything we haven't said. His hand fists in my hair, angling my head, and I kiss him back just as fiercely because I might not get another chance. Because he's about to walk into danger and I might never see him again. When he pulls back, we're both breathing hard. Wait for me, he says. Marco, wait for me, Elena. I'll come back, I promise. Then he's gone, and the door is closing, and I'm alone in a reinforced room while the man I maybe, probably, definitely have feelings for goes to war. The monitors show me everything. I should look away, should close my eyes and pretend this isn't happening. But I can't stop watching as Marco and Carlo move through the penthouse with deadly efficiency. There are men, 5, 6, maybe more, searching the rooms. Professional, armed, hunting. Marco moves like violence given form. Every shot is precise, every movement calculated. He's been doing this since 16, he said, and it shows. This is his world, his element, and watching him protect me with such absolute certainty does something complicated to my chest. One of the monitors shows the building's entrance. More men arriving. Too many. Even Marco can't fight this many. I'm reaching for the door. Stupid, suicidal, but I can't just hide. When my phone vibrates, his phone, technically, the one he gave me for the call to my mother, a text, unknown number. You want her to live? Come alone to the old railway yard. 1 hour, just you. My blood goes cold. They think he'll trade himself for me. Think I'm valuable enough that he'd walk into an obvious trap. And the terrifying thing is, he might actually do it. I grab the phone and dial Carlo's number. It's in the contacts as simply C. He answers on the first ring. Miss Elena, stay in the... They sent a message, a trap, the railway yard. He's going to go, isn't he? Silence. Then quietly. Yes, don't let him. I can't stop him when it comes to you. Carlo sounds almost apologetic. No one can. Then I'll stop him. I'm already searching the room, looking for another way out. There has to be emergency exit protocols, secondary egress. How do I open this door from the inside? You don't. Miss Elena, please, stay where you are. The boss will handle. The boss is going to get himself killed for someone he barely knows. My voice cracks. I won't let that happen. He knows you well enough. Carlo's voice is gentle. Well enough to die for you. Well enough to burn the whole city down if it keeps you safe. That's not nothing. It's insane. Love usually is. There, a panel on the wall. Emergency override. I yank it open, find the manual release, and the door hisses open. The penthouse beyond is quiet now. Too quiet. I find Marco in the main room, standing over the last body, blood on his knuckles, his expression cold and distant. This is the man the city fears, I realize. Not the one who touches my face gently, not the one who promises protection. This version, the killer. You're supposed to be in the panic room, he says without turning around. You're supposed to not be planning to trade yourself for me. He turns then, surprise flickering across his face before he can hide it. How? They texted. Your phone. I hold it up. A railway yard, 1 hour, and you're actually considering it. Elena, don't. I cross to him, stepping over debris, refusing to look at the bodies. Don't tell me you have to. Don't tell me it's the only way. Don't tell me my life is worth more than yours because I won't accept that. Then what do you want me to tell you? His voice is rough. That I have another plan? That I can fix this some other way? I can't. The only thing they want more than killing me is taking you. So if I can trade myself, you think they'll let me go? Really? I laugh, but there's no humor in it. They'll kill you and then come for me anyway. We both know it. His jaw clenches, because I'm right. We both know I'm right. Then what do you suggest? He asks quietly. We leave, both of us, together. Disappear somewhere they'll never find us. I don't run. Even for me? The words hang between us, heavy, significant. His eyes search mine, and I see the moment he understands what I'm really asking. Not just about running, about choosing me over his pride, his power, his world. Elena, his voice is softer now. If I run, I lose everything. My family's legacy, my position, everything I've built, everyone who depends on me. But you'd be alive, would I? He steps closer. You think I could live with myself, knowing I abandoned my responsibilities, knowing I let them win? I think you could learn to. I reach up, touching his face, the way he's touched mine so many times. I think we could both learn to live with different lives, if it means staying alive. For a moment, I think I've reached him. His hand covers mine, and there's something vulnerable in his eyes, something that looks like hope. Then his phone rings. He pulls it from my hand, answers, listens. His expression hardens with every second. When? He asks. Pause. How many? Another pause. I understand. He hangs up, looks at me with something like regret. That was my contact in the police department, he says. The Calabresi family just hit your hospital, looking for information. Your coworkers, your patients. They're terrorizing everyone who knows you, trying to find leverage. My stomach drops. No. They've already grabbed one of the nurses, Maria Gonzalez, your friend. Maria, sweet, funny Maria, who brings homemade tamales every Friday and tells terrible jokes to make the kids laugh. They have Maria. We have to get her back. We will, but his voice is grim. They're using her as bait. They know you'll come. Then I'll come. I'm already moving toward the door. Where are they holding her? Elena, stop. He grabs my arm, gentle but firm. This is what they want. You emotional, reckless, walking into their trap. I don't care what they want. Maria is in danger because of me, because you've been protecting me. That makes her my responsibility. No, his grip tightens slightly. It makes her mine. Everything connected to you is mine to protect now, including your friends. The possessiveness should annoy me, should set off feminist alarm bells. But right now, with Maria in danger and time running out, I'm grateful for it. For him, for his absolute certainty that he can fix this. How do we get her back? I ask. We, his eyebrow raises. There is no we in this operation. You stay here, under Carlo's protection. I handle the Calabresi family. Not a chance. Elena, you said I'm yours to protect now. Well, guess what? It goes both ways. I step closer until we're nearly touching. You don't get to claim me and then shut me out when things get dangerous. If you're going into a trap, I'm coming with you. Absolutely not. Try to stop me. We glare at each other, two stubborn forces colliding. Then Carlo clears his throat from the doorway. If I may, he says, the lady has a point. They want her. They expect you to come alone. What they won't expect is you coming together. With backup. With a plan that uses their expectations against them. Marco's jaw clenches. It's too dangerous. More dangerous than walking into a railway yard alone to trade yourself, I counter. He closes his eyes briefly, and I can see the war behind his expression. Every instinct telling him to lock me away, keep me safe, but also knowing that I'm right, that together we might actually survive this. If I let you come, he says slowly, you follow every order, no questions, no arguments. You stay behind me at all times. Understood? Let me? I raise an eyebrow. You don't let me do anything, but yes, I'll follow your lead because you're the expert in tactical assault, and I'm a pediatric nurse who's way out of her depth. That almost smile. At least you're self-aware. Part of my charm. Among other things, his hand finds my face again, thumb tracing my cheekbone. If anything happens to you, it won't. I turn my face into his palm. Because you're going to keep me safe. That's what you do, right? Protect what's yours? Yes. The word is a vow, a promise. Always. Carlo provides us with equipment. Kevlar vests, lightweight but effective. Earpieces for communication. A gun that Marco insists I carry, even though I protest I don't know how to use it. Point and shoot, he says, checking the safety. That's all you need to know, and only if there's no other option. Preferably, you never have to touch it. Preferably, we get Maria and get out without anyone dying. His expression tells me that's not likely, but he doesn't say it out loud. The warehouse where they're holding Maria is across town. Industrial district, abandoned buildings. The kind of place where screams go unheard. Carlo drives while Marco briefs us on the plan. It's complex, multi-layered, with contingencies for every possible outcome. You really have done this before, I murmur. Too many times. His hand finds mine in the dark car, threading our fingers together, but never with someone I couldn't afford to lose. You barely know me. I know enough. He brings my hand to his lips, kisses my knuckles. I know you're brave and kind and stubborn. I know you make me want things I thought I'd given up on. I know that 6 months of watching you was the best surveillance job I've ever had, because every day you did something that reminded me why I do this, why I fight to keep this city safe. Marco, let me finish. His dark eyes find mine in the passing streetlights. I know that letting you out of that panic room is the scariest thing I've ever done. Because if I lose you tonight, I lose the first good thing I've had in years. Maybe the first good thing I've ever had. My throat tightens. You're not going to lose me. Promise me. His grip on my hand is almost painful. Promise me that if things go wrong, you run. You leave me behind, and you save yourself. I can't. Promise me, Elena. I look at this man who showed up bleeding at my door hours ago. Has it only been hours? And changed everything. This dangerous, powerful, broken man who somehow decided I was worth protecting, worth dying for. No, I say softly. His eyes widen. What? No, I won't promise that. Because if the situations were reversed, you wouldn't leave me, would you? He's quiet for a long moment, then, almost reluctantly, no. Then don't ask me to do something you wouldn't do yourself. I squeeze his hand. We both get out, or neither of us does. That's the deal. That's a terrible deal. Take it or leave it. He stares at me, and I can see the moment he realizes I'm not backing down, not compromising, not accepting his martyrdom. You're impossible, he mutters. You're one to talk. Carlo chuckles from the front seat. I like her, boss. She doesn't let you get away with anything. Noted. But there's warmth in Marco's voice, affection mixed with exasperation. Elena Rossi has a nice ring to it. My heart stops. What? Nothing. But his thumb is tracing patterns on my palm again. Just thinking out loud. Elena Rossi, his name attached to mine. The implication is clear. Permanent, forever. I should tell him he's crazy, that we can't possibly be thinking about futures when we might not survive the night. But the words stick in my throat because I like it, the sound of it, the promise in it. We arrive at the warehouse. Carlo parks 3 blocks away, and we approach on foot using shadows and abandoned buildings as cover. Marco moves like a ghost, silent and certain, and I try to copy his steps. Carlo flanks us, weapon drawn, eyes scanning constantly. 4 guards on the perimeter, Marco whispers into his comm. 2 on the east entrance, 1 on the roof, 1 mobile. I count the same, Carlo confirms. How do you want to play this? Quiet until we can't be quiet anymore. Marco glances at me. Stay behind me, always. I nod, not trusting my voice. My heart is pounding so hard, I'm sure they can hear it. We take out the first guard in silence, then the second. It's efficient, professional, and I try not to think about the fact that I'm watching Marco kill people. For me, to save Maria, to end this war. The warehouse interior is massive, empty, except for a few shipping containers, and in the center, a chair. Maria is tied to it, gagged, crying. Around her, 6 men, armed, waiting. It's too easy, too obvious. It's a trap, I breathe. Of course it is. Marco's voice is calm, but we knew that. He signals Carlo, who disappears into the shadows. Then Marco steps forward into the light, pulling me with him. Rossi, one of the men, older, scarred, clearly in charge, grins. You actually came and brought the girl. How convenient. Let the nurse go, Marco says. This is between us. Between us? The man laughs. No, see, this became between all of us when you decided this little blonde was worth protecting. When you made her visible, made her important. She's not. Don't lie. We've been watching. We know what she is to you. A weakness, a pressure point. The one thing in this world that can make Marco Rossi bend. Marco's hand tightens on mine. Last chance. Let them both go, and maybe I let you walk away. You're not in a position to make threats. The man signals, and more men emerge from the shadows. 10, 15, too many. You're outnumbered, outgunned, and you brought your weakness right to us. I brought my strength. Marco's voice is cold, final, and you made a mistake. What mistake? You assumed she'd make me weak, but what she actually did? He looks at me, and there's something fierce in his eyes, something possessive and dark and absolutely certain. She gave me something worth fighting for, something worth burning this whole city down to protect. You wanted to use her against me, but all you did was guarantee your destruction. Big words from a dead man. Then come find out. What happens next is chaos. Carlo opens fire from above, taking out 3 men before they even realize where he is. Marco pulls me behind a container, shielding me with his body while returning fire. The warehouse erupts into violence. Gunshots, shouting, the smell of cordite and blood. I should be terrified, should be frozen, but instead I'm moving, crawling toward Maria while the men are distracted, reaching her, cutting her bonds with the knife Marco pressed into my hand earlier. Elena, she sobs. Oh my God, Elena. Shh, we're getting out of here. Can you run? She nods, and we're moving, staying low, using the containers as cover. Behind us, I hear Marco, calm, controlled, deadly. He's not fighting like someone outnumbered. He's fighting like someone who's already won. We make it to the door, almost free. Then someone grabs Maria, yanking her back, gun to her head. Rossi, the scarred man. I have the nurse. I don't think. Don't plan. Just act. The gun Marco gave me is in my hand. Point and shoot, he said. That's all you need to know. I point, I shoot. The man drops. For a moment, everything stops. Everyone stares. At me. At the gun in my shaking hands. At the body. Then Marco is there, pulling me against his chest, taking the gun, his voice in my ear. You did good, Bella. You saved her. You're okay. We're okay. But I'm not okay. I just killed someone, took a life, became part of this violent world in a way I can never undo. Elena. Marco's hands frame my face, forcing me to look at him. Stay with me. Don't go into shock. Stay here. I killed him. You protected your friend. That's all. That's what you did. We need to move. Carlo is suddenly there, ushering Maria toward the exit. More coming. 2 minutes, maybe less. Marco lifts me. I don't remember when my legs stop working, and carries me out. Through the warehouse, into the night, toward the car. Carlo has Maria. Marco has me. And behind us, the warehouse erupts into flames. I don't ask how. Don't need to. Marco planned this. All of it. The timing, the escape, the destruction of evidence. We drive in silence. Maria is crying quietly. I'm shaking. Marco's hand hasn't left mine. Where are we going? I finally ask. Airport? Marco's voice is firm. Private plane. We're leaving. Leaving? Chicago. The country. Everything. He looks at me, and there's something broken in his eyes. You were right earlier. I can't win this war without losing you. And I choose you. I choose you over everything. Marco, no. Your family, your legacy, means nothing if you're dead. His grip tightens. I told you, you're mine, and I protect what's mine, even if that means walking away from everything else. Maria makes a small sound. This is because of me, because they took me. This is because I fell in love with someone who doesn't belong in my world. Marco interrupts. And instead of being smart and walking away, I dragged her deeper, made her part of this, put a gun in her hands, and turned her into something she never should have had to be. You didn't drag me, I say quietly. I chose this, every step, opening the door, coming with you, staying, fighting, shooting that man to save Maria. I chose all of it. You shouldn't have had to, but I did, and I do it again. I turn to face him fully. I choose you again, every time. His eyes search mine. You don't know what you're saying. The shock, I'm not in shock. I'm clear, maybe for the first time. I take a shaky breath. You asked me earlier what I want, and I want this, you, us, even if it means running, even if it means leaving everything behind. Because you're right, I felt it the moment I opened the door. This connection, this certainty that you're something important, something worth protecting. Elena, I love you. The words surprise me, but they're true. Insane and impossible and too fast, but true. I love you, Marco Rossi, and if we're running together. For a long moment, he just stares, then he kisses me, deep and desperate and full of everything we haven't said, everything we might not get a chance to say if this goes wrong. When we break apart, Carlo is smiling in the rearview mirror. About time, he mutters. The private plane is waiting. Small, luxurious, the kind of thing I've only seen in movies. Marco hustles us aboard. Maria, me, Carlo. The pilot doesn't ask questions, just files a flight plan and starts the engines. Where are we going? Maria asks. Somewhere safe. Marco settles beside me, his hand finding mine automatically now. Somewhere they'll never think to look. And once you're settled, Maria, you'll never have to see us again. New identity, new life, whatever you need. What about my family? Protected, already arranging it. He's making calls, giving orders, moving pieces on a board I can't see. They'll think you died in the warehouse fire. Clean break. Maria nods, still crying, and Carlos sits beside her, offering comfort in quiet Italian. Marco turns to me. You understand what this means? Once we leave, we can't come back. Your family, your job, your life, all gone. I know. You'll resent me eventually. Blame me for what you lost. Maybe. I lean my head on his shoulder, exhaustion finally hitting. Or maybe I'll thank you for showing me a life I didn't know I wanted. You wanted to run away with a mafia boss? I wanted adventure, passion, something real. I look up at him. Turns out it came with danger and violence and trauma, but also with you. So yeah, I'll take it. His arm comes around me, pulling me close. I don't deserve you. Probably not, but you've got me anyway. We sit in silence as the plane takes off. Chicago disappears below us, lights fading into darkness. Everything I've known, everyone I've loved, shrinking into memory. I should be devastated, should be grieving, but all I feel is free and terrified, and alive in a way I've never been alive before. Elena, Marco's voice is soft in my ear. Yeah, when this is over, when we're settled and safe and no one's hunting us, I'm going to marry you. My breath catches. Is that a question or a statement? A promise. His lips brush my temple. Because I'm not letting you go. Not now. Not ever. You're mine. And I keep what's mine. The possessiveness should bother me, should set off alarms. Instead, I smile. Elena Rossi, I murmur. Yeah, I could get used to that. His arms tighten around me, and I close my eyes, letting exhaustion take over. Safe, protected, claimed by a dangerous man who somehow became the safest place I've ever known. Behind us, Carlo chuckles. Told you, boss. Love doesn't wait for permission. No, Marco agrees quietly. It doesn't. The plane climbs higher, carrying us toward an unknown future. Danger still lurking, enemies still hunting, but together, always together, and maybe that's all the protection I need. 3 weeks later, the villa overlooks the Mediterranean. White stone, blue water, the kind of paradise I've only seen in magazines. Marco bought it under a shell company. 6 layers of protection between us and the world. We're ghosts now, disappeared, dead, as far as Chicago is concerned. I should miss my old life, but it's hard to miss something when every morning I wake up to Marco's hands on my skin, his voice in my ear, his absolute certainty that I'm exactly where I belong. Maria left last week. New name, new city, new life in Amsterdam. with enough money to never worry again. She hugged me goodbye and whispered, "You're insane, but you're happy. That's what matters." She's right. I am insane, and I am happy. Bella. Marco finds me on the terrace, wraps his arms around me from behind. "What are you thinking about? How much has changed in 3 weeks?" "Regrets?" "Not one." I lean back against him. "You?" "Only that I didn't find you sooner." His phone rings. He ignores it. It's been ringing for days. His family, his contacts, people trying to pull him back into the war. He ignores them all. "They're not going to stop looking," I say quietly. "Let them look." His lips brush my neck. "They won't find us, and even if they do." His arms tighten possessively. "I'll destroy anyone who tries to take you from me." Always so dramatic, always so mine. I turn in his arms, and his eyes are dark with heat and promise, and something that looks like forever. "I have news," I say. "Good news or bad news? Depends on your perspective." I take a breath. "I'm 3 weeks late." He goes very still. "Late?" "My period. I'm late. And we haven't exactly been careful." He kisses me, deep and claiming, and full of something that feels like joy. When he pulls back, he's smiling, really smiling. The kind of smile I've only seen a handful of times. "A baby," he breathes. "Maybe, probably. It's too early to know for sure. But a baby." He lifts me, spinning me around, and I laugh because this dangerous man who's killed for me is celebrating the possibility of new life with such pure happiness. "Our baby." "You're happy?" "Happy? Elena, I'm..." He sets me down carefully, hands framing my face. "You've given me everything. A reason to leave, a reason to start over. And now this, a future, a family. It's going to be complicated. Raising a child while hiding from the mob. Everything worth having is complicated." His hand settles on my still flat stomach. "And this is worth everything." I cover his hand with mine. Elena and Marco Rossi and baby Rossi, hiding in paradise, living off mob money, avoiding assassins. Very normal family situation. "Nothing about us is normal, Bella." "No," I agree, "but it's ours." "Ours," he repeats. Then, quieter, "Mine." And as he kisses me again, the Mediterranean sun setting behind us, I realize something. I didn't just survive that stormy night 3 weeks ago. I didn't just escape danger or find adventure. I found home in the most impossible, dangerous, insane place, in the arms of a man who saw me and decided I was worth protecting, worth fighting for, worth burning his whole world down for. Some people would call that obsession. I call it love. "What are you thinking?" Marco asks, pulling back to look at me. "That 3 weeks ago, a bleeding stranger knocked on my door during a storm. And I should have been terrified, should have called the police, should have done everything differently." His expression clouds. "Elena, but I'm glad I didn't." I smile up at him, because that stranger became my protection, my home, my future. And if I had to do it all over again, the fear, the violence, the running, the shooting, all of it, I would, in a heartbeat. "You're sure?" "I've never been more sure of anything." I rise on my toes, kiss him softly. "You protected me, Marco, kept your promise, and now I'm keeping mine." "What promise?" "That we both get out, or neither of us does." I place his hand over my heart. "We got out, together, and we're staying together. Forever, forever," he agrees. His other hand settles on my stomach again. All 3 of us. In the distance, his phone rings again. Ignored. The world outside keeps turning, keeps hunting, keeps demanding his attention. But here, in this moment, there's only us. The mafia boss and the nurse, the protector and the protected, the darkness and the light, together, always together. And somewhere in Chicago, in an abandoned warehouse that burned to the ground, our old lives turned to ash. Good riddance. This new life, dangerous and complicated and absolutely insane, is so much better. The end. For now. I didn't know it then, standing in my doorway with a bleeding stranger, but that storm brought me exactly what I needed. Not safety, not peace, but something far more dangerous. A man who would burn the world down to keep me safe. And maybe that's the best kind of love there is. The kind that destroys everything except what matters most.